8 minutes to 9. Brian on Pacific Breakfast. Yes, Rotuman Language Week 2020. Our theme this year, Putua os Whainga Maosang Whakarotumba, nurturing our Rotuman identity through language and culture. Sue Pirrett, Pacific Heartbeat nutritionist, and Muffy Funaki Tahivote, manager of Pacific Health, the Heartbeat team from the Heart Foundation. Join us now on Pacific Breakfast for Pacific Health Talanoa. And this week we are continuing our talk, our Talanoa on tips for staying healthy during COVID-19 lockdown. Good morning, ladies, and being Rotuman Language Week, shall we practice Noa Ia? Noa Ia, that's how you say hello in Rotuman. Noa Ia, Sue.
Noa ia, Brian.
Noa ia,
And good morning.
Muffy.
Noa ia, Brian and Sue, and noa ia to all the listeners out there during level 3 as we approach to level 2 lockdown.
Well, let's send it over to you, ladies. Let's get underway with our Talanoa this morning.
Oh, great. Yeah, welcome everybody to Pacifica Health Talanoa. It's great to be still having the gifts of life today. And we'll continue on with our goodies or jars and bottles in the big, huge white cupboard, or it could be a brown or grey cupboard, Palangisu. But yeah, it will be great to look at what we've got in our pantries to actually continue what we can actually suggest for families to have and not queue up to those takeaways, Palangisu.
Yeah, good to see you, Muffy. And hi, everybody from my kitchen. And sorry, this is an early start for us. And I'd gone for a bolt round the block because during lockdown, everybody's been out and about, haven't they, Muffy? Trying to get out of the house. And as I know for me, I'm trying to get round the block before work and maybe after work just to keep it going. And I was thinking it would be great if we could continue that on, wouldn't it? Once we're out of lockdown, because there's so many people out there. I'm meeting all the neighbours, and that's why I'm getting a bit late. And it would be great if we could all keep that up, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. As we talk about things that we all love to have, which is our food and nourishing ourselves, but it's also great to be getting out and about and get move a bit more.
And I know I've been eating a bit more during lockdown, so it's even more important. So I don't put on the muffin top, or else I'm not going to fit anything when we get back in the office. But you're right, Muffy. We've been trying to share some helpful tips for families. Just to make quick and simple meals, and it was such a shame when we came out of level 4 into level 3 to see everybody lining up at the KFC and the McDonald's, and I thought, oh, what a shame if they just had a few cans and a few bottles and a few quick, easy recipes. It's so easy to do a burger at home or a pizza at home, and you can have whatever you like on it, So I thought, what a blow. We probably needed to be doing this show a little bit earlier, maybe.
Yes, and though we've been talking about canned foods in past program, and today about bottles and jars, it doesn't actually take us away from encouraging people to have fresh food at home. For example, the vegetables, you were talking about moving more, exercising. Another way is actually growing vegetables at home and using those fresh produce as well. But we thought, taking ourselves into jars and bottles could be one way of actually making healthier meals at home. When you talked about takeaways and so forth, we did mention in previous program about, they can make those takeaway items at home, such as the pizza. And looking at jars and bottles, I do have a tomato paste with me this morning that could go on the pizza base, and that pizza base could be just pita bread.
And even Muffy, even tomato sauce. I know you can get a low sugar one now, and I don't know if you've got a low sugar one in your cupboard, Muffy, of tomato sauce, but even tomato sauce is if you haven't got tomato paste, on the bottom of your pizza, and then your chicken and even your frozen veg and a bit of Edam cheese grated on the top and a sliced tomato. It's beautiful.
And looking in our cupboards, we do usually buy those light tomato sauce that comes in cans, and then we just keep refilling our tomato
so you
sauce
refill
bottle.
your bottle like that, do you?
Yes.
That's good for a big family, isn't it?
Yeah. And they tend to be cheaper, I find, but they usually are at the bottom of the shelf when you're at the supermarket.
Okay.
So you don't usually find it at eye level or above you. You usually have to bend down a little bit further.
Okay. So that's our exercises, isn't it? Going up, going down, going up, going down while we're at the supermarket as well.
That's right.
Are you doing that, Brian? Are you stretching and doing your exercises when you're shopping at the supermarket?
Yes, I do. Mind you, I've been getting exercise just waiting in line, and my wife waits in the car. So during lockdown, when I, wait and maybe half an hour, and then when I get to the front, I just, wave out, and then she comes and takes over instead of her waiting in line. Just doing my part there. Thank you.
And doing your star jumps while you're there, I'm sure.
Yes, and my squats as well.
Those are exercise tips, and also another tip there, because you're having to stretch up or bend down, they tend to be where the cheaper items in the supermarket, because companies do pay a lot more for their products to be placed at eye level.
That's right. So get the exercise and save our budget as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And just looking at the cupboards, I know that many of our Pacific families also like packaged foods, especially those noodles that we have. But there is also, and I know that we're not promoting brand, but what we've found in terms of just the white noodles or whole grain, there is a whole grain option. As well. This is the chicken flavor, but there's also beef flavor as well.
And that looks I haven't seen that one, Muffy. So that's a great tip. I'm really having a good look. And I know Pacific, going back to jars and bottles, that Pacific, I'm learning, being in a Pacific team, that soya sauce is a real staple in that big white cupboard, and Muffy's throwing her arms around in glee, and I'm sure Brian is as well. And I know it's in the in the sapasui and in lots of the Pacific too. Your vermicelli, and it can be very, very high in salt though, can't it, Muffy?
Yes, and that will be a source of having too much salt when we're making our tapasui. And I've got a packet of vermicelli, and unfortunately, I haven't found anything that does offer whole grain or whole meal option. This is what we have for making chop suey. It's the vermicelli, and they do come in different package. This one here is a large one, but you can actually get the smaller packets. So for a large family like mine, of 8 of us in the household, I'll use one of this. If you've got a small family, then you can have the smaller packets. And that will go with your reduced soy sauce rather than the usual.
And I did find one at the supermarket. Here's the, I don't know if I'm holding it too close or too far away, but this one has got reduced salt on it. And it's still quite dark, because I know I'm learning that the sapasui or the chop suey is no good if it doesn't look dark. And I'm probably talking out of turn here, and Brian might tell me off, but I was thinking, gosh, frozen veggies would be great if you're trying to get more veggies into the sapasui or into the family's meals. That would be a great one to throw them into.
Okay, Sue, sorry, I have to stop you right. Sue, Palangi Sue. No, I have actually had chop suey with veggies in it, so a number of times, and it is nice. Yes, not often, but I have. So there, thank you.
Those are great innovations for Pacific, adding lots of veggies. It makes it a lot more colourful. It does fill you up, so it will not put the muffin, as you were talking about, Sue, around your tummy during lockdown. So that's the beauty of non-starchy vegetables, is that you can have as much as you have, but it doesn't actually put the weight on. And it does also, for some cancers, For example, cancer of the stomach, which is high among specific, prevent cancer from occurring. So, you know, it's brilliant, and it's colorful. We like colors, don't we, Brian? So rather than looking at a plate that's just white and yellow, we've got a plate full of different colors. So yeah, vegetables, like mixed veggies are a great way to do that.
And those colorful ones are magic foods, really, aren't they? They're just magic. They're so good for us, and they're full of that stuff called fiber or roughage that fills us up as well. So yeah, we don't get as hungry, don't eat as much, so we're not adding to the muffin top, like you said, Muffy. But in my cupboard, I've also got some oil, and there's some. I've got a Pam's sesame oil here. It's just quite a cheap bottle, but I love the flavour of sesame oil. But there's some better oils for us, and I know a terrific one. I'm not sure if you've got one in your cupboard, Muffy, but a terrific one is canola. Oh yes.
I've got the humongous giant 5-litre canola oil. And you can see how much we've used during lockdown. It's almost finished. So this is a better type of oil, and it's also cheaper. And we do use it in cooking, but if we're using it to brown onions, for example, garlic and ginger, just to bring that flavor before you add your meat or beans if you're making chop suey. Then use a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of canola oil, and if you heat it up, it doesn't actually change it to a worse type of oil, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't go all smoky, does it? It's a good one. It doesn't go all smoky.
That's right. And we've bought the bigger bottle. It is cheaper to buy in bulk rather than the smaller bottles, and we do have a big household, so this will last us for quite a long time. So it's great to, but even in saying that, it does come in a clear bottle, so you are careful to look after your oils properly, and put it in a dark place. Don't put it where the sun actually shines on, or a light up space in the house. So putting it in your cupboard, hidden in dark places, will make the oil last longer and also make it as best as it can be in terms of its quality.
And Brian, what does your family use? Are you canola oil cookers, or what do you like when you're cooking?
We do actually have a canola oil, but we, coconut oil, or, the sort of, coconut oil we use, as well as, what's the other one? Olive oil, actually. So those are the sort of 3 main ones that we use. But, we definitely got canola oil in the cupboard there. Not as big as Muffy's one, maybe about a 2 litre there, so yes.
And we're hoping that Muffy's not deep frying, aren't we? We're just hoping she's not deep frying, and that's why she's got that big one. No, but the canola oil's nice and cheap, and it also lowers our cholesterol. And I know Muffy has shared with us, and we see the stats every year from the Ministry of Health, that a lot of Pacific people have quite high cholesterols. So that coconut oil tastes beautiful, but it can raise our cholesterol. So it is a good idea just to have it not quite so much. The canola oil's an absolute beauty because it's cheap and it does lower the cholesterol. The olive oil's good as well, but it's quite expensive. So I think for families, big families like Muffy's, it would end up, being very expensive. But yeah, canola oil is a great choice.
Yeah, I got a gift as an extra virgin olive oil. But I haven't seen this in one of the shops, but you can get them in supermarkets. But I've got the huge bottle, but you can also get the spray. So I've got a Pam's canola baking spray.
Yes.
So if you're having to add anything into your saucepan, you can just spray it rather than actually having ladle oil.
And having a non-stick pan is a good idea as well. Now I've got a couple of other things, and I know we're we've just got to a couple more minutes, really, haven't we, Brian? Probably. So I've got a few more quick things in my cupboard, and I was hoping just to share with you that there's some really great recipes. So excuse my dodgy writing, but Pacific Heartbeat has a Facebook page. It's called Pacific Heartbeat NZ. And also, if you go onto YouTube and you just type in New Zealand Heart Foundation, not those Aussies, New Zealand Heart Foundation, cooking videos, you will find lots of quick, cheap, healthy recipes for the family that you can use these bottles and jar items in. And one of them today, I just want to have a quick talk about, Muffy, is the sweet and sour chicken stir fry, because that's on there. That's on the YouTube, sweet and sour chicken stir fry. And it uses things like, you can get garlic in jars instead of having to chop up garlic. It's just you can get really cheap jars of garlic, and you can just spoon them out and put them into a stir fry. It's great for softening the onion with. And same with crushed ginger. I mean, the fresh ginger is absolutely lovely, but if you can't be bothered like Palangi Sue, you can just use, the jarred ginger. And I think this is a Pam's one. This was a lot cheaper than, because, those home brands are just as good most of the time. So that's the sweet and sour chicken, because I know Pacific families, the team shared with me that they love sweet and sour and pork and things like that. So this is a sweet and sour chicken recipe. Yeah, have you tried that one, Muffy?
Yes, I've tried an adapted version, and it's also something that we can also try, is whatever you've got in your cupboard, replace it with something else that you've got in there if it's not in the ingredient list. So it's just encouraging everybody to keep on cooking at home and trying those recipes and keeping our hearts healthy during lockdown, as we reduce to go back into normality of facing people, on a personal basis. But otherwise, happy cooking to everybody, and healthier ways to keep our families healthy, as well as moving more like Sue did this morning. And wishing everybody a beautiful day today.
And I just wanted one more thing. Our Heart Foundation website.
Oh, just hold it up a little bit higher, please, Sue.
Up a little bit higher.
Yes.
There you go. Heart Foundation website is www.heartfoundation.org.nz. And then if you put a / resources, or just look for the resources at the top of the page there, 2 recipe books will come up, and one's called Cheap Eats and one's called Affordable Eats. And they've got some really good, cheap, healthy recipes for the family there. So do check out our website and the Facebook page and the YouTube for the cooking videos. That would be awesome. Go for it, Brian.
Very
Cook
good.
up a storm.
Will do. A very big thank you, Faixia Sue Pirrett, Pacific Heartbeat nutritionist, and Mafi Funaki Tahifote, manager of Pacific Health, the Heartbeat team. Thank you so much for our Pasifika Health Talanoa this morning, ladies, and wishing you all the very best for a great week. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Brian. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It is